Hello and welcome to the basic guide for Emission. Let's just get into it, and I'll just talk about problems with holes or talking about the holes in general when we come to them. So hole one, I think Eustace Mango is his name, did a recording a while back, like 3 months ago, and he showed it on 0.1.2 and got a hole in one. I don't think that way is possible anymore. I think they've sort of fixed that happening, but there is a nice, easy, consistent 2. What you're going to do is you're going to go full power, position your camera so you can go full power, and line the left hand side of like the rectangle with the right hand side of this line here, like so, full power, and it will get you in a nice, easy spot for a 2. This is just an E put, obviously, at the hole. Hole 2, we're looking at a hole in one. This is just about timing, and it is all important about timing. You can either aim at left or right, it really doesn't matter. I sort of, if you look here, I sort of aim sort of right one because it seems to be easier to get through this gap. But basically what your aim is your aim is to get into these sort of teleporters as soon as the beam disappears. And that's important. You need to get it in as soon as it disappears. So even going now, like going in now, I would hit the beam and miss. So I'm going to go into the next one, sort of way now. And you'll see I should go in. There is a lot of, well, I say a lot, there's a couple, sort of probably 1 or 2 seconds of leeway altogether, so you should be fine. Hole 3, I don't think will be possible in one. I thought about maybe hitting it off here onto there, but I just like sort of jumping over, but I don't think that's possible. But nonetheless, an easy full power put between that gap here should set you up for a nice easy 2. We're going to sort of aim at this white bit here, or I guess blue. I should really start calling that a light blue sort of piece here, and you're sort of going to go right inside of the R. Now this occasionally doesn't get you in, but like sort of 95% of the time it does, and it's a nice consistent hole in 2. Hole 4, we're looking at a 2. And God, I wish you could change the loading between screens. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it sort of glitched the last time I tried to record this. But basically, what you're gonna do is just turn to your right bit. You're gonna be going full power at the start of this curve to the right bit. And as long as you don't glitch, you should go straight through and aim here. Now, what I think is there should have been a beam across there to there, because it would make it all about timing. But because there isn't, we're going to take advantage and get a nice easy 2. So we're going to go half a black circle at the hole itself and get it in. Definitely the easiest hole on the game. On the game? No, that's not true. On this map. Actually, no, that's probably a lie as well. Probably hole 18 is. This one really doesn't matter, or at least I can't tell. And I also don't think there's any difference in the sort of the spinner. I don't really get it, to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. Just going to go full power at the center of it, and that should get you somewhere around here. You may find that if you aim a pixel right or pixel left, you may end up somewhere around here. It's really hard. Next one, what you're going to do is just aim at this square here. So blue meets green power. We're not aiming to get it in. Obviously, if you wanted to try, feel free. But I'm just setting myself up for a nice, easy 3 put, where we're going to sort of go sort of just less than half black circle power and get it in. Obviously, a par is never great, but it is possible in 2, but I can't find a consistent strat as of yet. And because I'm only doing the basic guides, and because this game is so inconsistent, I thought I'll just provide you a nice, easy way to get a par. So this one, what you're going to do is just position your camera so when you're aiming, your sort of line will be going sort of the center. If you're aiming at the center of your screen, you should be aiming just right of this corner here. And what you're going to do is when the beam appears, you're going to go full power as these lights go just past your aim. So but obviously the beam will disappear, so if I went now, the beam would disappear by the time I released. So we're just going to be patient, and we're going to go this time, so we're going to release now, and you'll see I go in and get a nice easy hole in one. That one is just about timing, as most of the levels are. You've just got to be really careful about the timing because they're quite easy to mess up. Okay, hole 7, we're going to go for an easy 2. Occasionally it doesn't get you in, but that's just because you probably glitch. You're going to go full power straight as soon as the beam appears. Quite simple. And there's no way you're going to go back on. The next one, you're going to go full power as soon as this beam appears. Now, unless you're really unlucky, like I am, you should go in. Now, I do find this hole is one of the ones that even if you use less power, you're not likely to go in there because I think it just puts you at the same power every time. Well, I'm not 100% sure, but most of the time I do full power, I go in. Literally about 80% of the time, I go in it, but occasionally I just glitch. Just make sure you're aiming at the very center of the second sort of teleporter. That normally should make you get in. So hole 8 is an easy 2, and I would say this is consistent. I've never bounced out. What you're going to be doing is full power at sort of this sort of corner piece, the white / light blue corner piece, and then you're just going to go full power at this teleporter as soon as the beam disappears. Nice, easy, and I don't think I've ever missed that second shot. So you should easily get it in. Okay, hole 9 is possible in 1, but it's about timing, and it's quite a hard one, I must say. Well, to get the timing right. So ideally, you want to release sort of as soon as the blue sort of goes behind this sort of corner piece here, so or that corner piece, it really doesn't matter. So sort of release full power now, or sort of now, and that should make sure you hit the actual teleporter itself. But obviously, the main thing is this beam. You need to do that full power as the beam appears. So sort of then was the ideal situation. I'm not gonna lie. But you need to do it as soon as the beam appears. So even now, I would probably beam would disappear eventually. Just a bit of a waiting game. I could have gone down, but I wasn't confident. We're just going to wait for the next one. It's quite simple. Obviously, you just want to make sure you don't mess up. Next one, I promise. Next one, I promise. See, you've just got. I'm trying to be as safe as possible, and that's the problem. The ideal situation was the first one. All the ones since have been a bit. You could go, but probably not the safest. And I can just guarantee this is getting really boring for me and you. It's always hole 9. Hole 9 I've had to stop my recording at like a few times. Okay, this one should be fine. Like so. And you go in. There is a... Now yeah, occasionally you glitch on this. In fact, I probably glitch on it like sort of 50% of the time. There is a big leeway actually. As long as you're over the first one, there is a big leeway. But obviously I'm just trying to be as safe as possible because the hardest bit on that level is not actually getting over the beams twice in a row, but it's actually hitting the moving teleporter, and so that's just what I'm making sure I do. Hole 10, quite simple, just turn to the left a bit and you're going to aim at this corner, sort of where the green meets the blue power. Oh, my power was wrong. You'll notice that although the arrows are moving, the teleporters don't actually move. I just thought I'll add that in. But yeah, so you're aiming there, and it's half black circle. Half black circle should get you in as long as you can time. Obviously, I'm just terrible at timing. But nonetheless, if you go through, you should end up somewhere around here. And basically, your next aim is to go right hand side of the R, sort of to curve around, so aiming at here again. And you should go in. I'm sorry about that. That was a bit of a shit recording, but that should be an easy 2. Obviously, I just messed that up a couple of times on the first shot, but yeah, it's quite an easy 2. Just fractures it. This one, you're just going to go full power as soon as the beams disappear. Doesn't matter which one you go through. And now you're just going to go sort of full power. I would move my camera though. When I don't move my camera, I occasionally just don't go where I want to go. And you're basically going full power as close to the left hand side as possible as soon as the beam disappears. There is a bit of leeway obviously in terms of the beam. And ideally you want to do that. And ideally you actually want to sort of ride this round and go in. But even then it's not like you don't always go in. So it's such a stupid game. But yeah, so it's a nice easy par even if you missed a 2-putt. And that is sort of one of the reasons why I put it as a under 40 guide rather than a 35 guide. This one's simple, full power straight as soon as the beam disappears and as soon as you've got a clear shot through the spinny thing. So now it's actually probably, if you're going straight, it's probably harder to hit the spinny things. But yeah, so the second power, what you're going to be doing, going as close to the left hand side as possible. So mid 3 as soon as the mid 3 power as soon as the beam disappears. You should roll around and you should go in for a nice easy 2. That one could eventually be impossible in 1, but I very much doubt it. I don't know really how you would, to be honest. Hole 13. Timing. So what you're going to do is just position your camera so either on either side, I go right obviously, and you're going to be aiming so that you just miss this left hand wall, so you're sort of getting as close to it as possible. And also what you want to do is, I will zoom out a bit, you want to release when the spinner sort of stops like there, so you know when it starts to spin back. But on top of all of that, you've got to make sure the beam's there and that you don't hit these beams. There you go. Basically that method just makes you so you don't sort of end up in this situation, as it's a bit harder to get it in 2. But anyway, from here, as long as you don't hit the beam, because that would be embarrassing. So full power. I do think that one will eventually be in 1. That's probably the most likely to be in 1. And I have come close a couple times, but never actually gotten it in. Okay, now hole 14. Can go full power, and it's going to show them, that's where I'm going to go. But I think if you went a slightly less, it might put you in a better position on the second shot where you could potentially get this hole in 2. But I'm just going to show you the consistent hole in 3. So you're going to be going full power at this sort of white blue mark, and you're going to release as soon as this beam disappears. Because that beam ties up with these beams, and that should put you here. Now, the reason why I think a bit less power is because you wouldn't bounce off the back wall and you could end up here. I'm not 100% sure if that would be possible, but if you did, you can obviously get a shot in here. However, that's I'll talk about that purple shot once I get round 2. Second shot, what you're going to do is aim at the close right hand side of this and just release as soon as the portal, as soon as the beam appears. Full power. Now, if you obviously end up there, then you've got to take into consideration again, but you can just use this beam as proof. You basically need to go as soon as these beams appear. So we're going to go full power at it, and it should get you in. Probably a bit of a rush that final shot, but as I say, if you can end up in that great position for your second shot, if you use the beam in front of you and sort of go full power and ride the curve round, then I think potentially you could be looking at a 2. But I'm not 100% sure of that because these sort of teleporters are really weird in the fact that occasionally they just spew you out with the same power every time, but then occasionally some of them don't. So that's obviously something to test. But anyway, the first shot on this one actually quite simple. You're going to be sort of aiming at this one, sort of the left hand version at full power. As soon as that beam disappears, and what's meant to happen is you should follow this round and sort of hit you off here and end up here. Now that doesn't always happen. I'm not gonna lie. Probably about 75% of the time that does get you there. Occasionally you sort of glitch out, but I'm just gonna put you here. Put me here for a reason because I want to show you the nice consistent hold to put. Now you would think if you ride the circle you would go into that corner wrong. This is so poorly designed that you sort of bounce off of this corner here, and sort of get away from the hole. So what we're going to do is where the green meets the blue, and you're basically aiming here, and you're basically hoping that you go in. It does go in. I would say that shot is like 95% consistent. But obviously I would just play around with you. Play. Dude, my English is fucking terrible. I know I'm bad at it, but man, it's because I'm not Ian. But yeah, you should go in for a nice easy 2. This one, what I do is just position my camera slightly left. Then, because I've got this cursor, obviously, line the left hand side of it with the right hand side of this teleporter here, and I'm going to go full power as soon as the beam, so these line beams disappear. Oh god, I went a bit too right, but it shouldn't really matter, as you should go into that green, come around, bounce off there and line up. Now again, I would say 50% of the time you end up in this position. Other times you don't even, some reason the portal doesn't put you far enough and you sort of end up here or there. Either way, if I'm there, what I would do is just hit sort of somewhere into these sort of 4 squares here, so you've got a nice easy straight put, rather than trying to do something fantastic where you'll get sort of most likely screw yourself up and take 2 extra shots or something like that. But anyway, this second shot, you're just going to go half a black circle at the hole itself as soon as the beam disappears, and you want a nice easy 2 put, and yeah, we're on 38, but that's because I messed up hole 10 and a couple of the other holes. In fact, did I mess up any of the other holes? Probably. Hole 17, we're looking at a 3 consistently. Basically what you're going to do is just move your camera slightly, you're going full power, and you're going to aim, sort of make sure that the ball goes as close to this as possible. And you're going to release when all 5 disappear. So sort of like there, full power, all 5 disappear. And that should put you in this situation. Now, I actually normally end a bit closer, like sort of about there, which is more ideal because I don't think I'm going to be able to get this in now. But the thing I just want to point out for you now is, you see this here, this sort of triangle piece here, that is classed as the moon, so it's counted as, or whatever we're on. I think we're on a moon or an asteroid. Asteroid makes a lot more sense. That actually counts as out of bounds, and I'll show you. So what I normally do is if I'm here, I sort of go full power, sort of at the right hand side of this there. In fact, that still works, which is great. So it's a consistent strat. Oh, it's over there. Yeah, you can't see it, but if you do hear that, you do count as out of bounds. I've actually not seen, but I don't think there's one on the other side, so it might be worth going the other way just to be a bit safer. But anyway, so this one, second shot, you're just going to go full power straight at it, and you'll go in. Doesn't matter which colour you go at, you will go in no matter what. That's super consistent free, to be honest. And now hole 18, it's just about really timing. Make sure the beam's in the correct place. What I do is sort of aim straight and then sort of go a pixel left, and I release as soon as the beam reappears. And we should go in. Now you might have guessed I'm not the best at long recordings. That's why I do this smaller guide for the golf with your friends videos. But yeah, so I got a 42. It is consistently below 40 as long as you don't mess up hole 10. Because hole 10 is possible in 2. So if we minus 3 there, you're getting below 40 consistently. And so I hope you like the video. I'll see you next time.